everyone will be alright if I'm not live by satellite. It's a beautiful day, I'm running away. Don't bother to Facebook message or call me.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Filmbox Podcast. My name is Aaron Souza. I'm your wonderful, gracious host, and I'm joined by the usual suspects, even though we're not talking about Kevin Spacey on this podcast. It's Connor Jameson and Sam Majewski. How are you guys doing?
Let's hope we never have to talk about Kevin Spacey on this podcast.
Anyways, this is a movie podcast about movies. And so this episode, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff about Star Wars. There's been some announcements coming up. We're going to be playing a couple games, talking about some fan theories, doing something a little bit different for this episode of the podcast. But, I think it's still going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. But first, before we do that, before we get into that, we've got to talk about what we've been watching. Because we've watched a lot of movies since the last time we recorded and the last time you listened to our annoying-ass voices. Connor, what have you been watching lately?
I feel like this time around I've got a better balance of good and bad movies. Watched 65.
Obviously an amazing movie.
Disappointed. More dinos, please. Tetris. Really good movie on Apple TV. Inside. The Willem Dafoe movie. Also disappointing. Skinamarink. Pretty fucking creepy. Finally got around to seeing that.
I've heard Skinamarink is literally just like a lot of nothing.
Well, that's why people are so split on it. It's literally like an hour and a half of just rotating shots of furniture.
Ugh.
But how it's shot is very creepy. It's like one of those movies where it's like dark enough where you think you can see stuff in like the back, like faces. But yeah, it's a lot of like furniture.
Interesting.
Sound design is very good. I'll give it that.
Interesting.
Watched the movie Shiva Baby.
Never heard of it. We watch a lot of movies on this podcast and on this website. I've never heard of Shiva Baby.
Shiva, I think, actually. Not Shiva. Sorry.
Shiva Baby.
Yeah, I saw it recently. It was like, it had its 2-year-old birthday. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. It's on, I think, HBO Max. And then Shazam 2, I think I'd seen between our last recording, which, it was alright.
It's Shazam. Shazam!
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I think to make a good Shazam movie, they needed less Shazam.
That's a rip. Oh, boy. Sam, what about you? What have you seen?
So I've been all over the spectrum. Watched a few new movies that just came out, and a couple really old ones. So been on kind of a Disney binge. So I've been watching. I saw Princess Bride again for like the 20th time. Lady and the Tramp, the animated one, and Swiss Family Robinson, all great movies. And then I've also been watching some new ones that just came out. Murder Mystery 1 and 2. I watched that recently. Stay tuned for the Murder Mystery 2 review. That will be coming out
soon.
That'll be coming out soon. Like Connor, I also watched Shazam 2. Wasn't overly impressed, but wasn't overly disappointed as well. And then one movie I also just watched that surprised me was the Super Mario Brothers movie that just came out. And I was pleasantly surprised on how that movie came out. And again,
it's another one that's really split people.
And I again wait for the review that will be also be coming out momentarily.
Yeah, like that's one where it's one of those movies where the critics didn't like it, but the fans love it. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to see your thoughts of why that might be.
It was just. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Cool. Yeah, and so I've been watching a whole bunch of movies as well. I recently watched Air, the Nike biopic starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and it was phenomenal. It was very, very good. I recommend, and you can read our review on the website. I watched Rylane, which is it's a really solid British comedy, rom-com, that I was particularly impressed with, especially in the writing and the cinematography. Creed 3 I finally saw, which was amazing. I have literally never seen any Rocky movie or Creed movie, and I picked right up in on Creed 3. So I made a choice, but I think it worked. I actually was really into it, even with the fact that I hadn't seen it before. So
those movies are pretty easy to just pick up.
Yeah, I mean it seemed like it was pretty much its own story.
Yeah, as long as you know who Creed is, that's half the battle.
Yeah. I watched the movie Space Oddity, which just came out on Prime, I believe it was. Not bad. Just like your run-of-the-mill rom-com with some interesting elements, but it had Kevin Bacon in it, and it had Alexandra Shipp in it. If you don't know her, she plays in Tick, Tick, Boom, which is one of my favorite films of all time. So that was fun to watch. I watched Champions with Woody Harrelson. So a lot of new movies I've been watching. But I also went back. I saw The Fifth Element. Just for whatever reason, I just, on a whim, was like, Fifth Element. It's happening. And then I watched The Meyerowitz Stories, which is an Adam Sandler, Dustin Hoffman, and Ben Stiller movie in one of Sandler's serious roles, and it was phenomenal as well. So
nice.
Very impressed overall. But I also I've decided today that I'm going on a journey. I'm going to be doing the Oscar Gauntlet this upcoming year. So by this time next year, when the Oscars get the nominees get released, I will be going on the gauntlet to see if I can see every film that has been nominated. So that'll be fun.
I'll join you on that, brother.
Oh, we got a little film box gauntlet going. I love it.
Yeah, sorry. It's our triathlon.
Yeah. It's how many movies can you sit down on your couch and watch?
Well, I mean, I think I got all the best pictures except for one. Mm-hmm. And like pretty much all the animated. And then a couple of like smaller ones that were just like one-offs.
Yeah.
And that was just in like a week.
Yep. No, I think if I can keep up on it, and trying to catch up on all the big releases while mixing in indies throughout the year, I won't have a ton to catch up on towards the end, but it is still daunting. It's daunting. As last year there was 51 movies in the gauntlet, including documentaries and stuff like that, and I was like, oh boy.
It's not for the faint of heart.
It's a task, that's for sure. But on to the big thing about this podcast episode. So,
my favorite topic.
If you've not been paying attention, this past weekend was Star Wars Celebration. And if you know anything about Star Wars, you know how much it divides the fan base. But if you know anything about us, you know that 2/3 of us love Star Wars, and the other one couldn't be bothered.
The third, who will remain nameless, is indifferent.
Yeah, look, he's seen them, but he's not like super into it. Like
I can hold a conversation. I mean, this unnamed member can maintain
this
a conversation.
Person can hold a conversation.
He or she, as incredibly handsome as they are,
lacking
in this area.
All right. Well, Sam, you want to bring us through everything that was announced at Celebration this year?
Yeah. All right. Starting off with one thing that really excited me was Andor Season 2.
Woo-hoo.
I
still haven't seen the first season.
I highly recommend it. Very good and very different from what we've recently seen with Star Wars. But yeah, Season 2 just got announced. I'm pretty sure this is the last season too. I don't think they're gonna be.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're not gonna expand it anymore. Because spoiler alert, he dies in Rogue One. So.
Spoiler alert.
So production is in filming is planned to be wrapped up by August of this year, and season 2 is planned on a release date of August of 2024. So stay tuned with that. Next on the list is The Acolyte, which is basically a different perspective than what we've really been seeing with, pretty much the entire Star Wars saga. This is going to be more focused on the Sith, set in the High Republic era, which is years and years before Episode 1. And that also has a release date of 2024.
That's interesting.
Just as a side note, the Lee Jung-jae from Squid Game, the main character in Squid Game, is playing a Jedi Master, along with Jonas Suotomo, who picked up the mantle of Chewbacca, also playing a Jedi Master. So that'll be really cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm interested by this tagline from Leslie Headland, calling it Frozen meets Kill Bill. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
Are they getting like Quentin Tarantino?
It's a musical where they murder people.
It's a musical. It's a musical directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Be prepared for feet, blood, and singing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like
on a Tuesday.
I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if she meant that by like Frozen, as in like the story plot line,
Yeah,
with the action and stuff with Kill Bill, or I don't know. We will see. We will see what it is. But it does finish wrapping up production next month. So
this is live action, right?
This is live action, correct? So, next on the list, something that
it's something.
I'll watch it, but I don't think I'm gonna be thoroughly impressed. Is the Star Wars: The Skeleton Crew, which is basically a group of kids that go around the galaxy and causing chaos.
Little rascals.
So I don't know. I mean, it is directed by the Daniels, David Lowery, who also directed Green Knight, and Bruce Dallas Howard. What?
Bruce. Wow, it's Bruce. Well, hold on a second.
Wait a second.
I'm not gonna say this.
No, I think I was thinking the same thing as you. But okay, well,
man.
pretty sure that should say.
They spelled John Watts, I'm pretty sure too. So
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say Bryce Dallas Howard.
Jesus, disgusting film. Get it together.
Listen, they're working around the clock. It's fine. This is what I would do. You've seen my notes.
But Jude Law is supposed to be the lead, with Kerry Condon, Robert Timothy Smith. So
interesting. Can we just point out like this? It says that there was exclusive footage shown off to Star Wars Celebration Europe attendees, and it says the footage starts off in a suburban type of community that seems much more grounded and almost Earth-like. We see the main group of kids at school and hear a narration of one asking another if they want to go on an adventure. This sounds dumb with a capital D.
It doesn't sound good.
I feel like that. I'm not gonna say anything.
I don't know if this is gonna be aimed more towards the younger audience. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And that is supposed to be released this year, sometime later this year.
Hooray!
And then this is probably the biggest reveal that happened this past weekend is the new Ahsoka TV show. They just dropped its trailer. And boy, was it interesting. And I am very excited for it too.
Yeah, they revealed a lot.
They revealed a lot, a little too. That's the thing. That's the thing with trailers now is they literally release the entire movie. They did this in the Shazam. You know, they literally had Wonder Woman in the trailer.
Yeah,
it's like
that's why I'm so pumped for Barbie, because you couldn't even convince me there's a plot to that movie. even without the trailer, I was in. But like that trailer showed absolutely nothing of significance. I feel like.
Yeah. I like everyone figured that the Rebels crew was going to be in it. Yes. But it wasn't confirmed, and there wasn't anything like super known about it. And then the trailer comes out, and it's like, all right, here's him, and here's her, and here's her, and there's this guy. It's like, oh my god, it's like save it for the show, people.
Can you give me like just a who is the Rebel crew?
So there's a show called Star Wars Rebels, which takes place post Order 66, during the rise of the Empire. It ran for 3 seasons on Cartoon Network? 4 seasons on Cartoon Network. Yeah. Was it Cartoon Network or was it Disney XD?
I think pretty sure it was Disney XD.
Yeah, it was Disney XD. And first season was kind of like very child oriented, but then it very quickly went into like real heavy Star Wars, and it was fantastic.
It was very good.
So these are the main characters from that show. Plus also one who wasn't shown in that show or in that trailer was actually in the latest episodes of The Mandalorian. So
Jack Black?
It's confirmed that all the characters from the show are now, and this was an animated show, mind you. So the fact that these characters are all coming into live action is kind of a big deal.
No, it was Lizzo.
Seeing that on Twitter with no context,
dude,
funniest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, her and Jack Black, man.
I, honest to God, thought it was like a Kia commercial. Like, it just had that look to it, like they're on a football turf, it looked like.
Yeah. It was something.
But yeah, the last, how Rebels ended, they clearly was setting up something else. So this is pretty much an extension of that. But we got Rosario Dawson returning as Ahsoka Tano. She played Ahsoka in Mandalorian. And let's see.
Her headpiece, her Leku, which is what the thing for her race in Star Wars are called. Shut up. I see you smiling over there, Connor. I see you laughing. They look a lot better in this than they did in Mandalorian. So that's good.
And then Loris Mikkelsen is reprising his role as Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's the one that voiced Thrawn in the Rebels, and he's actually playing that. He did pretty well in that show. And then that's supposed to be coming out August of this year. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to that Disney is putting out. So
on to the movies.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right, so they announced an untitled Star Wars film that is set 15 years after Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
I'm so upset.
And this is I was gonna say this is basically Daisy Ridley's returning as Rey, and now is pretty much making a new Jedi Order and training Jedi Knights and whatnot.
This is literally Episode 10.
It is, but it is. They say it's not, but it basically is.
I mean, come on. It's literally in the same 100 probably. We're up to 150 year period at this point. From Episode 1 to Episode 9, and then they're like, instead of doing something else in the thousands of years of galaxy, let's go to 15 years after that.
Yeah.
This feels like it could be a show.
Yeah, it does. So I do think it'll end up spawning a new trilogy.
Yeah. But yeah, why don't so there's so much. I know that the Star Wars Legends isn't really canon, is not canon anymore. But they have so much other lore that George Lucas created that they can just go off of. There's so much more things before the Phantom Menace, the hyperspace wars, the Mandalorian wars, all of the Old Republic, the High Republic,
Wars.
everything. But no,
even if you wanted to go beyond Episode 6, you could integrate like the Yuuzhan Vong Wars from the books, which was a really cool concept. Stuff like that. There's a lot of eras, and I particularly wanted to see the Old Republic era. Because, seeing the Jedi, in full force against a full force of Sith would be nuts.
Yeah.
Being able to see the siege of the Jedi Temple all over again.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty
But
cool.
I know we've talked about this before, but Star Wars is just a cash grab right now.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's just a cash grab, and they're trying to, it's all Baby Yoda and stuff like that. All right, and then next is an untitled Star Wars film about the first Jedi. So, this era is pretty much called the Dawn of the Jedi, which is set 25,000 years in the past before the Old Republic.
I actually this is something that I'm very interested in.
Yes, I'm glad that they're expanding on this. So.
It says it's described as a biblical epic a la the Ten Commandments about the dawning of the Force, which I think could be really cool concept.
If they do it right. Midichlorians
and it's directed by
stuff.
James Mangold, who pretty solid.
Yeah. And then the final film they announced was they're calling it the Mandoverse. So the Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, they're pretty much making a film to interconnect all three of those shows. So we'll see how that goes. And then last thing that's not Star Wars related but is Lucasfilm related is they did release more information on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, it's coming out very soon, so it's not it's not a surprise, but they did show off a new trailer with some more on the CGI on Indiana Jones, the de-aging technology, which actually looks really good.
Yeah, I saw that. See how that goes.
I'm impressed. We shall see.
But
Harrison Ford, man, the man just wants to retire, but they just keep pulling him out of retirement.
This was a shower thought I had the other day.
Okay.
Me just thinking about Harrison Ford in the shower.
Oh God.
I was thinking this man just really wants to just retire.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, he's still taking the roles.
He is taking the roles.
So then my brain went on a conspiracy. Did he sell his soul to Disney by accident?
He didn't even run over. Yeah, he didn't even want to return
to Marvel. He's in Indiana Jones. He's in Star Wars.
He just sold his soul for one of those movies, and they're like, actually, now that Disney bought it, they own your soul. So now they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, he didn't even want to be in Episode 7.
I could tell.
He's like
Harrison Ford sold his soul to the devil, and the devil sold it to Disney.
He's like, I will not be in Force Awakens unless I die.
The devil and Disney walk into the bar and they say, "Seat for one, please."
Oh man. Well, on that note, how about a Star Wars fan theory? I got something brewing that I saw. So there's a subreddit. I'm not going to take credit for this. This particular one was posted in the fan theories subreddit by Ark the Lad, which I will link in the description here if you want to read it. But I saw it and it inspired me to want to talk about it because this is absolutely nuts, and I think this is going to be something that we keep bringing back as like a blind reaction to fan theories and stuff like that in popular culture, popular films. I don't want to do like a fan theory for some obscure ass movie, and then everyone will be like, I don't give a shit.
You mean the people don't want to know like the deep roots of Biodome?
Yeah, well, you might. All right. So, this is an Attack of the Clones fan theory. It says the title is Count Dooku was a philosopher king who gave Obi-Wan Kenobi 2.5 chances to help him bring utopia to the galaxy and nearly succeeded without him. All right? So, to set up, the theory is that the theory goes like this. Nice. Connor just took his headphones off. He's like, I'm done with this. He goes, all right, so the theory goes, Dooku knew that the Republic's corruption was so endemic that no amount of reform was ever going to fix it. As a political idealist, which is stated in Episode 2, simply toppling Palpatine and taking over the Republic would have been a distasteful prospect. He was a count, an aristocrat. That made him better than the common man of the Republic, better than sleazy politicians like Palpatine, better than the government tools like the Jedi who protected the government. His vision was clearer, his doctrine was pure, and his ideals were more righteous. So as someone better, quote unquote, he was burdened with greater purpose. Dooku would not simply overthrow his master, but rather provide the galaxy with an alternative to the Republic, so superior and exceptional that it would implode. He'd be the midwife to a galactic utopia, then hand it off to Obi-Wan Kenobi to secure his legacy. All right? So that's the theory. Now we're going to back it up with the evidence here. So the evidence part one, all right?
Part one.
This one's a little... Coffee's taking the headphones off again. All right. So this is called Birth of a Rival. In this section is called From Paper Tiger to Real Tiger. Palpatine merely intended the CIS, which is the Confederate of Independent Systems, which is basically, for layman's terms, the droid army. All the separatists, if you will. So Palpatine wanted the separatists to be perceived as a great threat to the Republic, but only perceived as such. However, Count Dooku was working overtime to make it true. The Trade Federation, the Banking Clan, and the Techno Unit had all pledged support to the separatist allegiance. The Corporate Alliance and the Commerce Guild were two guilds that that Count Dooku was seeking to add as backers, which we saw in Episode 2 when they were meeting on Geonosis. With all those groups invested in it, the CIS would then have the industrial, financial, commercial, and military base that would allow it to be the author of its own destiny. So basically, the idea was that Palpatine wanted the CIS to just be this front of like, this is a huge threat, this is what's going to start our war, and then Dooku was like, no, this is going to be a real threat. This is a power. And then this next section says it happened right under Palpatine's nose. Palpatine knew Dooku was on Geonosis and even knew who he was meeting with. Since they were also allied to him. But what he didn't know was that Dooku was working a backroom deal to secure the CIS's independence from him being Palpatine. As Palpatine's puppet, Dooku wouldn't have needed to negotiate treaties with them to fund the war. He'd be able to order them to provide whatever they needed by Palpatine's own authority. If Dooku was brokering his own deals to supply the CIS, it's because he's cutting them a better deal in order to prepare for his uprising against Palpatine. As for the backers, they were funding both sides, so as long as they made money, it didn't really matter. So, why bring Obi-Wan on board to this plan? Well, Dooku knew that he would leave his masterwork unfinished. Dooku was old, and Palpatine was already grooming his replacement. He knew that. Despite his idealism, the backbone of the CIS was made up of the same corrupt corporations as the Republic, meaning it was destined to share the same fate. The only thing keeping them in check would have been Dooku's status as a terrifying Sith Lord who'd kill them all if they'd crossed him. He needed a powerful successor capable of maintaining the same level of order among them until the CIS matured into a proper state and could be reformed. So we needed someone powerful like an Obi-Wan who could take control while this new entity formed. He had moved beyond the plebeian's binary understanding of the Force. He still referred to his new dark side abilities as Jedi powers, but he wasn't one of the deluded Jedi who couldn't see they were working for a Sith Lord. And he wasn't some common Sith Lord who was ambitious for ambition's sake. He was some kind of greater Force-sensitive other. So it didn't matter to him that he was a dark side and Kenobi was light side. Only that Kenobi's abilities were of a higher caliber. And so Kenobi was also one of the best Jedi Knights. As a Padawan, he killed Darth Maul. He helped liberate Naboo. He foiled Senator Amidala's assassination attempt in Episode 2. He was training the Chosen One. He uncovered the creation of the clone army. So there was a lot of evidence to show that Kenobi was a great candidate for this. And Dooku knew that Kenobi was susceptible to the dark side through their shared connection with Qui-Gon Jinn. Dooku being Qui-Gon's master, and then Qui-Gon being Obi-Wan's master. So Dooku's idealisms caused him to leave the Jedi. He knew that some of that same idealism rubbed off on Qui-Gon, ultimately leaving him as a renegade Jedi, which we see in Episode 1. And he sensed that Obi-Wan also had a similar darkness inside of him. During Episode 1, Yoda said Kenobi was defiant like his master, and then also, if you remember, in the prequels, or in the original trilogy, he literally was lying to Luke about what happened to his father. Yep. Just straight up lying. Okay, so that's some of the backstory of like why he wanted to do this and why he chose Kenobi. So this is chance number 1.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Connor, are you following this?
Respectfully, I had to pull this up too because you were saying way too many words for my brain to process.
It's a lot.
This is a novel of a theory.
It's so good though. Okay,
it's super in depth.
It is.
I don't understand a word of it, but it's in depth.
All right, so this is chance number 1. It says targeting the Sith. When he asked Obi-Wan to join him, he didn't ask him for help to conquer the galaxy or to destroy the Jedi or the Republic. He didn't want the Republic and the Jedi Order. He didn't want the Republic, and the Jedi Order was already a dead man walking.
Yeah.
So it was going to die anyways. Given enough time, the CIS, by virtue of its superiority, would bury both sides, which we kind of start to see towards the end of the Clone Wars. It was, if you watch the Clone Wars show, it's not easy for the Republic.
Yeah.
Given enough time, by virtue, and they would bury both institutes. However, the CIS could not kill Palpatine, and he most certainly has to die for the CIS to live. That's why he asked Kenobi to help him destroy the Sith, specifically in Episode 2, when he had him captured. He said, "Join me, and together we can destroy the Sith." Because he didn't need to destroy the Republic. He didn't need to convince anyone to do that. He could do that. All right, the Jedi attack. Jango fled for no reason. When they met on Kamino, Kenobi fought Jango, and Jango fled for their fight. Kamino was not part of the Republic, so the Jedi had no jurisdiction. Plus, they had no real evidence linking Jango to anything. It was just all speculation. He had no reason to leave Kamino. He would have called his boss, Dooku, to let him know that the Jedi were snooping around, and at that point, Dooku probably asked him to return to Geonosis, knowing that Kenobi would follow. If Jango killed Kenobi on the way, great. The droid foundries are still a secret. We don't have to worry about that. If not, Dooku can try and use Kenobi to his advantage. And then this says, all according to Palpatine's plan, ? Palpatine's plan was that the Republic would eventually attack the CIS to start the Clone Wars. Would Palpatine knowingly have set events in motion so the Jedi attacked the heart of the CIS war machine right when all the people funding the Republic's war effort were there and in danger of dying in the crossfire or being arrested by the Jedi? Absolutely not. So it makes sense that Palpatine would not want the attack to start there. So why did it? Well, this says all according to Dooku's plan. All those backers watched in fear for their lives as more Jedi, like Anakin, came charging in berserker rage to chop up poor Geonosans who only Krybe had been leaving the Republic. Then they watched as droids, under Dooku's command, completely overwhelmed them. Dooku even gave the Jedi a chance to surrender to show his benevolent nature. When they refused the offer, they painted themselves as ruthless killers who could not be reasoned with. When Yoda showed up with the Republic's unnatural clone army, Dooku's forces also held it off until everyone escaped. The backers were indebted to him, and if there were any doubts about the Separatists' chances of beating the Republic, they would have all melted away that day. So that's chance number 1. Chance number 2 comes later in episode 2, says testing Kenobi. Even though Kenobi had already refused his offer once, Dooku gave him a second chance during his fight to escape Geonosis. He went easy on Kenobi, trying to test his ability to see if turning him from the Jedi was possible. And there's a list of bullet points of how that happened. 1, he took out Anakin immediately so he could concentrate only on Obi-Wan. He used his lightning only once against Obi-Wan Kenobi because he wanted to see if he was capable of defending against it. If Kenobi was to take on Palpatine, he'd need to be able to do that. And once he was satisfied that he could defend against it, he stopped. He never used it again in the battle. During their duel, he mocked Kenobi to provoke an emotional response and break through the indoctrination of the Jedi. He controlled his strikes, giving Kenobi only flesh wounds to his arm and his thigh when he could have easily severed both, just like he did to Anakin's arm. And after disabling Kenobi, he stood down a few moments to allow Kenobi a chance to respond. That was the moment of truth. With death seconds away, he needed Kenobi to lash out in anger or beg for mercy and fear. Any kind of emotional reaction to signal a break from his Jedi brainwashing. But instead, Kenobi just laid there and was ready to take it. He was ready to go. So Dooku understood that Kenobi would not be turned, and so opted to try and finish him off. But by that point, Anakin had been able to jump in and save him. So that's kind of like sort of chance number 2. This says playing Palpatine for a fool. So Dooku turned Anakin over to the Geonosians. He knew Anakin was being groomed to replace Count Dooku as Palpatine's assistant, or Palpatine's apprentice. He couldn't kill him without incurring Palpatine's wrath, though, so he handed Anakin and the others over to the Geonosians, who were calling for their executions. In the worst-case scenario, all 3 escaped to live another day, but he would score points with Nute Gunray and the Geonosians, which is obviously that's what happened. In the best-case scenario, he still score points with them for killing them, and his replacement would be killed. As for Obi-Wan, he had already refused Dooku's offer once, so his death was not necessarily a huge loss. But if Anakin died, he could just lie to Palpatine saying the Geonosians demanded justice, and he had to choose between handing over Anakin or continued access to their droid foundry. Also, he didn't kill Anakin when he had the chance. So after he severed his arm, Dooku just force-pushed Anakin away. He didn't actually try and kill him with his lightsaber. He just threw him away. The only possible reason would be because Palpatine had expressly forbidden Dooku from killing Anakin Skywalker. Dooku obliged in order to buy the CIS time. A Sith apprentice is supposed to scheme against his master. Everyone knows that. If you follow Star Wars, it's kind of like the succession of the Sith. As long as the master could still control the apprentice, it wasn't a problem. But by letting Anakin live, he had tricked Palpatine into believing he was still obedient, and under that assumption, Palpatine wouldn't try to actually win the war. He just used the CIS as a meat grinder to thin the ranks of the Jedi, which allowed Dooku to continue building it up in secret as a rival to the Republic. And the maiming of Anakin increased Dooku's value while diminished Anakin's. So he laid a beat down on Obi-Wan, crippled Anakin, and fought Yoda to a standstill. Basically, he told Palpatine, look, I'm here to stay. I'm not getting replaced. And then also messed up Anakin, who was the replacement, his quote-unquote replacement. And then, all right, there's just a little bit more. So this is chance 2.5. So now we've transitioned into episode 3. So this is taking the Chancellor hostage. As soon as he learned Palpatine would have Grievous take him hostage and orchestrate it so that the Jedi Dream Team would rescue him, Dooku knew that he'd finally been made and that one of them would have to die during that mission. He decided to try and make one last play for Obi-Wan. So his plan was to kill Anakin and then strike down Palpatine. He told Anakin, I've been looking forward to this because there was nothing to prevent him from killing Anakin at the time. He, at that point, had nothing to hold him back. He took the time to pin Kenobi to the ground with a platform instead of just crushing him like a bug. He didn't want to kill Obi-Wan, just incapacitate him temporarily. After killing Anakin, he would attack Palpatine, who would be forced to either defend himself with lightning or a lightsaber, which would reveal to him he was a Sith. Kenobi would then come to and see that, holy shit, Palpatine's actually a Sith Lord, and he was working for the bad guy, and Dooku actually told him the truth in episode 2. That they were being led by a Sith Lord. And then Kenobi would have to choose between the person who was his master's master, who was honest with him from their first meeting, or the guy who had been using him and the Jedi since the beginning and was actually a Sith Lord deceiving them all. Together, they would destroy Palpatine and end the war with a victory for the CIS. But instead of all that, Dooku got murked in episode 3.
Wow.
That he did.
So this says an undignified death. Why did Dooku stay silent at the end? Well, he was in shock. First of all, he just got his hands ripped off from a lightsaber. He was humiliated as an aristocrat on his knees, facing execution. And despite his best efforts, at that point he had failed. His ultimate goal was not achieved.
Well, he looked surprised when Palpatine told Anakin to kill him, though.
I think
I don't know. It kind of looked like a look of surprise.
Yeah, I can see that. But also, you got to think the shock probably played quite a bit of a factor into it.
Yeah.
And he maybe wasn't expecting Dooku, or he wasn't expecting Anakin to totally just outright be like, "Hey, kill this guy." You know, because that's kind of like a play on Palpatine's part. Like, all right, bro, you're kind of giving it away a little bit. You know. So, tying up the loose ends. He was 100% telling the truth. Newt Gunray was vindictive. He was still trying to kill Padme 10 years after what happened on Naboo. After his failed invasion, Newt Gunray really did go to Dooku for help and told him all about Palpatine because he wanted revenge against him too. Upon hearing Palpatine's plans, Dooku became his apprentice for the purpose of using Palpatine's resources, not to save the Republic or the Jedi Order, but to bring about his own personal vision for the galaxy before Palpatine could achieve his. He instructed Gunray and the rest of the CIS leadership, including General Grievous, to pay lip service to Palpatine as master until the time was right for him to rise up. General Grievous. After Kenobi refused his offer and being unable to secure another quality apprentice, Dooku trained Grievous in the Jedi arts for the sake of continuity of government. In the event of his untimely death, Grievous, as a big, scary cyborg, could assume control of the CIS, rule it as head of a military junta, and use the droid army to keep the financiers and member systems in line. Grievous would continue building the CIS in secret until he was ready to take on Palpatine, which, when you think about it, Grievous had already killed a lot of Jedi before, even without the Force, so it makes sense that he might have been able to kill Palpatine. But instead of that, Grievous got murked. And the last section. Why would Palpatine order Darth Vader to go to Mustafar and massacre the CIS leadership? Well, I mean, there's no other reason. I mean, he wasn't afraid that they were going to blackmail him, because he literally was the emperor of everything at that point. So they couldn't go tell anyone because Palpatine already ruled the Senate and the courts. The Jedi Order was extinct. The clone army was loyal to Palpatine, so why would they have him executed? Well, it's because basically he found out about the whole plot, and he was basically saying, as punishment for all of your treachery and all of your, backstabbing, you're going to die in the most brutal, violent way possible. We're having a full-powered Darth Vader just obliterate you one by one in a room on Mustafar. And that's the theory.
Yeah. That's
so
Ooh.
All in all, Palpatine was actually trying to overthrow everyone and instill a utopia in the galaxy and save the galaxy from everything that was going on. But instead he died. It's kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a nutso theory, but everything about it makes sense.
From what I remember in my one time watching it 2 years ago, maybe a year ago now, I could see that being like an actual motivation and like an actual story beat.
Yeah, I mean, because it really other than that, I mean, the Dooku character is just there. You know,
it's explained so well in the Clone Wars TV show.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Maybe I'll just go back and watch everything. I don't know. We should start like having some bets on this show, and that's my punishment.
I don't know. I thought I just it's just it throws so much into like into your mind, but at the same time it's very well backed up by evidence. So again, credit to Arc the Lad on Reddit. I'll link the link here in the description. You can read it for yourself. It's nutso.
Well, it's just,
it makes sense.
And it makes you think, it's like, if Dooku literally just said one sentence to any of the Jedi, just like, hey, Palpatine's the Sith Lord, I'd go like, yes, he is, we trust him, but, and then other people would be like, no, he's definitely lying, and he's definitely not the Sith Lord, right?
Yeah, right. Because it explains why, like, Dooku, throughout the Clone Wars and throughout Episode 2, even into Episode 3, he was never a full Sith Lord. Like, he never really felt like he was super evil. Like a Darth Vader was or a Palpatine was. Even to the point that he didn't even have the yellow eyes that a Sith Lord typically does, because they're so filled with rage and hate that the Force gives them the yellow eyes. Instead, he was just this guy. He was, like they said in Episode 2, he was a political idealist. He wasn't, he was disgruntled with the Republic, but the Empire was not, if he was disgruntled with the Republic, the Empire was not the place to go.
Yeah.
So
I was I saw this video. I'll probably watch after the podcast, but it's why Dooku hated killing Jedi during the Clone Wars.
It's also very true. So I mean, there's so much information.
There's just so much.
But so now that we've absorbed all that information, now we're gonna chase it with a nice fun little game.
A new game that we'll be doing.
Another new game. But I think it's gonna be really, really fun. Connor, why don't you describe what we're gonna be doing?
All right, so I'm probably the least.
I put you on the spot there.
Yeah. So basically, what we are going to do is I got my random actor and actress generators, and I got the main cast of A New Hope. What are we going to do with that? Glad you asked. I'm going to...
Hey, Connor, what are we going to do with that?
Thank you. Raise your hand next time so I can call on you, but not you.
You need to leave.
You gotta do like the little kid thing where you like hold your arm up, because it's so hard to hold your arm up.
Just do the thing like just resting it on your head.
Mr. Jameson. No, so I'm gonna generate some actors and actresses, and we are gonna figure out where they fit best if we were to recast A New Hope.
Hell yeah.
You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Before, just so you guys know who we're talking about, we're talking Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, it's Ben Kenobi in the.
But it is
in episode 4. It's Ben Kenobi.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, of course I know him. He's me.
This guy. Darth Vader. Tarkin. Whoever that is.
Grand Moff Tarkin, man.
C-3PO.
Peter Cushing.
Yeah, you didn't recognize his foul. You didn't recognize his foul stench. No. Okay.
Nope.
Never mind.
You know what? I got it now. Just waft it over. R2-D2. Jabba.
He so did not get that reference.
I did not at all. And Greedo.
Governor Tarkin, I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
We could go on. We could do a whole podcast and just quoting Star Wars.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, All right, new idea. We do an episode of the podcast where we literally do a script read for Star Wars.
Gosh.
And Greedo, the slowest draw on the land.
And Greedo.
The slowest draw.
Oh, man. All right, let's do this.
All right. Let's just... There's only one actress that we got to listen off.
Yeah, well, if we get an actress, we'll throw them in a different spot.
Well, it's two different generators. So we're going to start with our lady.
Who is going to be Leia?
I missed the button.
Literally.
It is Diane Keaton.
Oh, God. Diane Keaton, huh? I feel like...
Where's she gonna go?
I mean... You could make a case for, like, C-3PO.
That is true.
I'd put him in... But, like, she's also, like... She's got that fire, like a Leia would need. I think.
I mean,
let's see. I've only seen Father of the Bride in The Godfather.
What have I seen of hers? Famously haven't seen The Godfather.
I feel like... I feel like she'd be good as, like, a C-3PO role. I really do. As, like, the like, advisor who's a little bit... I mean, I don't know.
Something like Dot Matrix?
Yeah, like a Dot Matrix type. Again, Connor has no idea what we're talking about.
No, well, I'm laughing because of all of the very good movies that I've seen her in, I've only seen her in one movie. And that was Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh my god.
Who's she playing that?
I don't know, she just popped up on her. She was Professor Sybil.
Oh, what the
Jesus.
It's better than when I thought John Candy was
Oh god.
in, what was that? Ice or Snow Dogs.
Nice.
So Len and Steve.
I don't know. I don't think that she doesn't scream Leia to me. Like, she doesn't scream that. I'm feeling C-3PO.
All right, I'm cool with that.
What do we think?
I mean, yeah, sure.
All right, let's do it. Diane Keaton is now our C-3PO. All right.
All right, Frank Sinatra.
Oh Jesus.
Who
Frank
is he?
Sinatra.
Oh, he's got to be Han. He's got the swag, man.
Do we want to commit to Han now?
That's what I was thinking.
That's
I'm like,
all, like.
Oh, he could actually be a good Ben Kenobi, though.
That's kind of where I was leaning.
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Or counterpoint.
Okay. So we know Frank Sinatra for his voice. Correct.
Oh god, I know where you're going with this.
No, you don't. How funny would it be to have, smooth singing Sinatra as Jabba the Hutt?
Oh my god! Hey, why didn't you pay me?
Exactly.
Han, my boogie, you owe me a lot of money. Oh yeah,
works.
dude. Yeah,
I think
dude.
it
That's
works.
it.
I think it works.
We just have to make sure he has enough lines.
Oh, I love it.
All right, Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
you
Frank
are Jabba.
Frank the Tank, Jabba the Hutt.
All right, next
Oh
up,
man, that's really funny.
we have. I don't know who you are.
Nice. Who was it?
I already went past it.
Oh god.
Okay. I don't know. it's tough when you don't know a lot of people. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte.
He could have been. What
Oh,
was it?
man.
He ended up running to be Han, or was it Luke?
I think he might have been a long time ago. I don't know. Are we talking like today, Nick Nolte? Because like, if it's today, Nick Nolte,
he's
Ben Kenobi.
I'd love to see him play Tarkin.
Oh,
okay.
that is.
Can you imagine just like, hey man, just like instead of the sophisticated like gentleman like military leader, it's just like, hey, I'm fucking crazy. I'm gonna blow up a planet.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah, I guess if it was a young Nick Nolte, then it would be. I would prefer Han, but
yeah.
if it's the old one, then we could do Tarkin.
Oh man.
I like it.
Nick Nolte, specifically old Nick Nolte. I looked him up on Google. If you look him up on Google and you look at like at his modern day pictures, I mean, it is he's a little wacky.
Man, forgot what a comb was.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I'm gonna blow up a fucking planet. You ready? You gonna watch? God.
No, I'm good with him for Tarkin. Yeah.
Be like in the scene in the conference room when Vader's choking a guy out. It's like, hey Vader, cut the shit, man. Cut the shit.
This is just Spaceballs now.
Literally, that's what we're casting.
Okay. I had a lady in here. Ooh, Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. She's more of a Leia to me.
A young
think.
Meryl Streep. Yeah.
Yeah, we're also casting them whenever we want in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's more of a Leia type, a lot stronger of a character. She was in The Deer Hunter? No shit.
What did you look like when you were young, Meryl?
Oh, for sure she could pull it off. Look at her in 1977 on her Wikipedia page.
Oh, yeah.
For sure could pull it off. Yeah. Meryl Streep is Leia. That's not even a question.
No, we can do that.
Good work, guys.
Let's go. We got a good one.
I don't think any of us would know him. Richard E. Grant. Ring a bell?
Richard E. Grant.
He's a Swazi actor.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, that
I
guy.
don't know a ton about him,
We can move on.
but yeah, let's go. Let's try and get another.
Why are these all old people?
I know.
Gary
Not getting any
Oldman.
youngs. Gary Oldman. Oh.
Does
I think
could-
he would
I
be a
see
good
exactly
Ben.
where your thing was.
I was gonna say I think Ben Kenobi.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with it.
Yep.
Good old Commissioner Gordon. He could definitely pull it off. That would be...
That'd be a good one.
That's like a perfect casting.
We gotta get some young guys in here.
Yeah, we do.
No, guess not. Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
He of Succession fame. That's killing it right now.
Yeah. Brian Cox. Where have I seen him in?
He's in Braveheart.
I don't appreciate that the one movie they attribute to him on this generator is X2. He's got to be in something better. Like X2 is fine, but like,
All right, so where would we put him though in this list? I mean, would he be our Han? What is young Brian Cox?
careful with that wording.
What does young Brian Cox look like?
Okay, you know what?
Oh,
What?
he could be a Han.
Yeah, he's kind of got like. I mean, he looks very English.
yeah.
He looks like
Yeah, well, he is Scottish, so
well, he
Close
looks
enough.
like he's part of the Beatles or something.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what
he could do
That's
it.
exactly what I was going for. Like he has that
Yeah.
kind of.
it's got that. He looks like he has that swag as a youngin. Yeah, I'll roll with that, young Brian Cox. All right, let's get something. Let's get a young actor in here.
Big
Want me to pull one?
Post Malone.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. Oh, he's playing Greedo for sure.
I was gonna say he's played Chewie.
I'm just it's there's 713 actors in this database. There's one.
Not a single one of them
there's
under the
one
age of.
or two. I guess I'm
45.
looking for now. I don't know if
Let's
we'll get it. So what we're saying? Yes to Greedo for Woody.
I mean, what do you think? I don't want to speak for everyone.
Okay, what did Woody Harrelson look like when he was younger? Like
I mean, technically, Woody Harrelson was already in Star Wars.
Oh, a young Woody Harrelson.
he is a
He might be a good Luke.
Young Woody Harrelson.
There's a picture of him and Han next to each other.
I do see that.
Oh yeah.
I'm not really getting.
I'm not
Luke
sold though on
vibes.
Luke. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to put him under a mask though. That's the only problem. But we only have masked characters left, or Luke. Oh, that's why I think Greedo is like, even though he has such a small role, he could be that gangster character that comes in and just dies immediately.
You could do that.
Well, I mean, given our new cast list, I think we could have a little creative freedom. Maybe toss in another scene.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Like we're not going to change the entire story around him, but maybe one other scene.
Maybe he joins the gang or something.
We see Jabba talking to him first and before he sends him out. So
There you go.
there, boom. All right.
All right. Let's get someone young.
Kyle Chandler,
Who?
Friday Night Lights. That's the only thing I know him from.
I have no idea who. Oh, this guy.
Oh yeah.
This guy. Oh,
know-
I've seen this guy.
I will say he's young him.
I don't know if I'd put him at Luke. Maybe 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 Chewie?
How tall is he?
Let's see, how tall is he?
I'm selling images. I don't know why I would look that up. 6 feet.
He's 6 feet.
Yeah. Ideally,
He's
he would.
6.5 feet.
Ideally, he would have been
Or
like
6 feet and a half
6'9",
inch.
but
Yeah, well, I mean,
beggars can't be choosers. We still have Darth too.
I just don't want to put Kyle Chandler as Darth Vader. You know what I mean?
No, fuck.
I think. We need something good for the big bad.
I'm using a different generator. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
get some. Where are we putting?
Okay,
him?
so are we choosing to not? All right, we are going to use Kyle Chandler.
Do we want to?
I don't know. I mean, do we? All right. I think we should be able to give ourselves one pass, and I think we should use it here. Oh, no.
First pull on this new generator. Jack Black. Book it.
Oh yeah.
Book it. That's exactly
dude.
who I was hoping for. Him or Seth Rogen. We found our Chewie.
For Darth.
Jack Black. Oh no, dude! I was thinking of R2D2.
He works too.
Dude, can you imagine R2 if instead of beeping and booping, It's just Jack Black be like, yeah!
Again, this is one of our creative changes. He's not just beeping and booping.
He's full on talking.
Yeah. Oh, let's go.
Jack Black, yes! Jack fucking Black as R2-D2.
I fucking love how you put in our...
That's such a him role, too.
Exactly. Like, when, was it, like, Kelly Clarkson's show, when he showed up as, like, dressed as Bowser, and she was like, oh, you excited? And he was like, yeah, I'd say I'm excited. Just him, him in, like, a trash can.
Jesus Christ.
Alright.
That's how he would play R2 too. It's just him. It's just Jack Black in a trash can.
I don't think we should go in there.
Oh, man.
All right. Ooh, Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh.
I think
Oh.
we found our door.
Let's see. What is? Oh, but I was thinking, what is young Mads?
That's also
Mikkelsen?
true. I don't want to just him to just play bad guys. First thing that pops up is 6
he'd be
foot.
I don't know though. He's pretty menacing even as a young'un. I don't know. He might have to be Darth Vader.
I don't know, dude. That it's tough. Like, I want him to.
Why does young Mads Mikkelsen look like if Johnny Depp and Keanu Reeves had a baby?
He does have that hair about him.
He's got just such that jawline that's very like, I'm a villain.
Well, especially and like his cadence of speaking, it is very like.
Yo.
Oh, okay. So with Darth Vader, are we casting the person or are we casting the voice?
We'd have to do the voice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think Mads is our Darth.
Mads Mikkelsen. All right.
So that leaves
we got 2 roles left.
Chewie and Luke. Oof, Jeff Daniels.
Phew, that's a Chewie character for sure. A
Man.
little bit of comedy. Doesn't have to show his face. He's just behind the mask and in the suit. That's for sure a Chewie. I don't want Jeff Daniels to lead off our
Look at him young though. Like I see a bit of Luke here.
Oh god. Oh, you're right. Oh no, he has too much of a funny face. Like he's got the goofy face.
Yeah. There's so much resting on this final spin.
There is a lot.
Hey,
This whole film that we've cast is resting on who we're playing to play Luke, and it's the last role.
Okay. I think we looked out.
What do we got?
Christopher Reeve.
Oh,
Superman.
Huh.
So Luke is not necessarily like that super big imposing guy. However, we have left ourselves no options.
I think he could do it though. Like, there's an image here from his IMDb. It feels like a Luke.
Exactly, like he could be a Luke. I feel like he's got like that.
Damn,
He's got like that good guy face. Again, just because he played Superman, it's like
yeah.
seared in my head.
Oh wow. So, to sum it up, we've got Luke Skywalker, played by Christopher Reeve, Han, played by a young Brian Cox, Leia, played by Meryl Streep, Chewie, played by Mr. Jeff Daniels himself, Ben Kenobi, played by Gary Oldman, the voice of Darth Vader, starring Mads Mikkelsen, Grand Moff Tarkin is good old Nick Nolte.
I just blew up a fucking planet.
What are you gonna do about it, huh? What are you gonna do? C-3PO is Diane Keaton. And this is where it starts. The first half was pretty solid. The second half is where it goes out the rails a little bit because we got Jack Black as R2-D2, Frank Sinatra as Jabba the Hutt back to back, and then Greedo as Woody Harrelson.
I like it.
Oh my god!
I'd watch that.
I love it. I would watch this
That's
movie.
funny.
This is great. Oh my god. Well, I think that's gonna just about do it for this episode. But if you liked what you listened to, and I hope you did, because wow, you can listen to more episodes if you subscribe or follow us on your preferred podcast platform. You can check out our website where we post movie reviews and other articles all the time. It's thefilmboxreviews.com, and it'll be linked in the description. I want to thank...
Yep.
Josh Woodward for our amazing theme music. Woo!
You're welcome.
I didn't forget. I'm telling you. No, I want to thank Josh Woodward for our amazing theme music. Also, you can check. We have a store on our website. You can check that out. There's a lot of really great stuff there if you want to support us. And just share along with your friends. If you like what you listen to, if you like what you heard, the best thing that you can do is to share it with people so that they know where to listen to us. They know that we're out there, and they can have a good time too. That means the world to us. We put a lot of effort into this whole project, and that sort of stuff really helps us out a ton. But without further ado, this has been another episode of the Filmbox Podcast, and we will see you later.
May the force be with you.
I'm running away. Don't bother to Facebook message or call me. 'Cause I'm living life in airplane mode and everything is okay. I just want to play